So I want to illustrate how to assemble the Atwood anchor lift system on a Scout. This is a Scout 365. I'm pretty sure the dimensions up at this end of the boat on the 14-foot boat are about the same. These are the Atwood parts. It consists of a nose piece with a roller in it, which guides the line down, and if you have a mushroom anchor, the mushroom anchor goes up inside this hole very nicely, and the whole shaft on the mushroom sits in here. So it goes on the bow, like so. But obviously we can't quite mount it there yet. And this is the winch part. This one has 100 feet of 3/16 line on it already, because this is the one I actually use. So the problem is how to attach up here to the nose, because you really want this off the nose. And it turns out on the Scout these noses are laid up by hand, and they're not always symmetric, and they're not going to be the same from boat to boat. And I imagine that also means that the angle might vary slightly up here, and the distance from here back to the seat area might vary as well. So the challenge was to come up with a solution to that. So that's my answer. It's a nose cone. It's designed to fit over the nose, and it's tapered, so if the nose is slightly different dimensions or whatever, it'll sit at a slightly different place. And then to take care of any angle variations, the thing is actually hinged. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put a piece of wood on top of that, and then we're going to attach the Atwood pieces to the piece of wood. These are the router templates. One is for the nose, and so we go up here. What I do is position it. First I use this as a width gauge on a table saw to cut the piece of plywood to the right width. So you want the width to be flush. I use a round over bit to round the edges all the way around. This gets positioned up at the nose end, and I clamp it, drill the first hole, and get a bolt in it to get it anchored in place, countersink it so it's flush when I want to run it on the router table. Get the other 4 bolts in place, and then rough cut this with a scroll saw or a jigsaw, and then route it to shape. And you just route from here all the way around to here. Okay. The handle is this template. It's got 4 holes in it. Only 2 are necessary. So you would position it where you want the handle on the piece of plywood, and I just use 2 of the holes and sink number 4 sheet metal screws in 2 corners to anchor it. Then I pre-drill with a wood drill to get out most of the wood, and then run it on a router to shape it, and then use a round over bit to round the edges. The holes for the back, you would have to have the Atwood winch. You would put it about where you want it, and then just use it as your template for drilling the 1/4-inch holes for mounting the winch itself. Now for once you're assembling this thing, and I'll show this again in a little bit, but you would take this crossbar and run it underneath. Let me get this out of the way. So that the rope kind of captures it from sliding back and forth. And then I would take the clips, and they clip on quite snugly. Oh, let me take the screws out. Okay, so take the clips, get these guys facing down. Now let's assume this is all bolted together, and I've got the nose piece on here. So then I would snug this up against the nose so that it's fit properly. And then I would put this guy so it's kind of aligned in the center, and then I would align these 2 guys, and then I would just come in through with a drill and drill pilot holes through here, smaller than the nut size. These have captive nuts, so smaller than the nut size, so just to get pilot holes. 4 pilot holes, then go back and drill it out to about 0.2 inches for the number 10 screws. Okay, and then I would assemble them on the other side, so that when you're all done, this would be on this side, and it would go on like that. And later in this video, I'll show you this thing clipping on and clipping off. Once you have the clips positioned properly to snug up for your boat, then what I would do is go back and saw off the tail end here. You don't need this tail end piece. I just wanted to give lots of room for any length to be accommodated in here that you wanted. Okay, now we're going to assemble the nose end of the system. That's this guy and this piece. So this is located on the back edge of it. So you line this up. It'll line up with two of the holes. Take two of the flathead screws from the bottom and put this guy on. And a lock washer. And a nut. And do the same on the other side. Okay, that's got things initially positioned. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put on this guy underneath. So it has captive nuts. So you take a hex head bolt with a lock washer on it, drop it down through the hole, like so. Get your trusty nut driver, put this guy here, line it up, attach this bolt. We're going to do the same thing on the other side now. So next we're going to do the winch. You positioned this where you wanted it. You already drilled 1/4-inch holes in 3 corners for it. Or if you bought the piece of plywood, those are already pre-drilled. You bring the flathead up from the bottom. And you're going to put on 3 flathead screws, lock washers, and nuts. Quite a lot more, of course. I already talked about the crossbar. It's in place. So we're going to take this off. Now do is take it off and put it underneath. We're going to find the position for the snaps. Okay, so here we have the clips. Put them on outside and rotate them around and slide them up to where you want them, like so, positioned. And then just bring this guy up to it so that you flush against it like so, and with your trusty drill 4 pilot holes in the 4 holes here. Drill those out, like I say, for about 2/10 of an inch to clear 10/24 screw. Okay, and then when you're all done, you take this back around, rotate this over, the holes will be there. And now you can put this guy on, the holes will drop right into place and attach your clips permanently. And then from then on, all you have to do to remove this thing is pull up on this thing to pop it free from the clips and slide it off. And to put it on, you just snug it up against the nose and press down on the clips. So once you're ready to go fishing, installing and removing this thing is really quite easy. So here's the anchor. I use a 10-pound mushroom anchor. It was coated in, I don't know, a plastic of some sort. I bought this one because, well, first it's easy to retrieve, and you're anchoring in really shallow water, but it also fits completely up inside here. The line I bought came with a carabiner, which I promptly learned to get rid of, and just put a very long loop in it, enough to go through the entire anchor. Okay, over here, over the roller, through the loop. So when I get undone at the end of the day, when I'm undoing, I do take the anchor off, because it's easier to stow the whole system without the anchor. Okay, so just loop it through on this one, and there's the system with the anchor nicely in place. It doesn't wobble around a lot in rough water. This is secure back here because we would have had our screws in place. It all fits. So it's been a very, very convenient system, easy to install, easy to remove from the boat. It works real nice. Thanks for watching.